Hey Choppers, welcome to our preview of CastleScape, a game that's coming to Kickstarter soon. It's for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 up, and plays in about 60 to 90 minutes. So we're going to get to the table, take a look at it. Now at its heart, CastleScape is a deck building game with castle construction, which we will play out on this board. Now I've got stuff already set up here, and I'm going to go through a quick explanation before we get to the guilds and the quarry, which I'll switch the camera over to so you can check those out, and explain a little bit about how the game plays. So you can see we got the game board here. The outside track right here is where you will track your renown for the game. Of course, renown is how you win the game. The player with the most renown for their guild at the end of the game wins. Now, we've got 3 gold cards set up over here on the side, as you can see, and each gold card is available to accomplish during the game. Once you do, you will take the gold card on your side and keep it, and it will not be available. There's multiple goals in the game, but you only put out 3 and the rest of them go back to the box. This number right here is how much renown you will gain for completing this goal. You can see here, this is the skilled orator. You place 5 recruits in a single turn. Once you do that, you can claim this card and keep it by your guild board. Now down here at the bottom of the board, this is called the rotating market deck, and it will always have 5 cards in it. Now at the beginning of the game, you will shuffle up the deck, which we have off to the side over there, and you'll turn out 5 cards in the available spots down here for the rotating market deck. And this is where you'll get a lot of the cards that will go into your deck. For example, we got this one right here, the Motivated Shopkeepers. It costs 3 gold to play, and it's worth 1 renown if it's in your deck at the end of the game. You'll just move your token up to keep track of it. It also says what it does. It gives you 2 gold and 1 recruit, and it also has the symbols on the side, so you can tell by that this is 2 gold, that's 1 recruit. If it gave you any walls for placing on the board, they would be a little gray symbol down here. Now it also designates how much infamy you will take, or possible corruption, which are bad things during the game, and that will be displayed down here. This actually gives you 1 corruption. Now the 4 stacks over here to the side of the board, these are your standard market cards, and they are all the same in each stack. So there's 4 different ones. There's the Back Alley Bribes, the Craftsman Shop, the Higher Offense, and also the Ramparts. And they give you different stuff, but once these stacks are out, they're out for the whole game if you buy them and add them to your deck. Now there is one last stack down here, but it's not really a stack, it's just 1 card. It's called Contracts, and that card is available to buy, but it stays in the standard market off to the side because it will allow you to draw new contracts for the game. Contracts reward you with end game renowned points if you fulfill them, whatever their stipulations are by the end of the game. Now, a little bit about what these 4 standard market cards are, what they do, because these are a lot of what's going to bulk up your deck other than what you get in the rotating market. You see the Back Alley Bribes right here, costs 3 gold to buy, and it gives you 2 recruits, which you can use to place on the board, but you'll also have to take a point of infamy. You'll move it up on your guild board, which we'll get to in a minute. There's the Craftsman Shop, where you see costs 2 gold, but allows you to get 2 gold. So once you buy it and you add it to your deck, when it comes up and you play it, you'll be able to generate 2 gold for buying from the rotating market deck or from the standard market deck. You'll also have the Higher Offense over there, which costs 2 gold, but you'll get 1 gold and you can destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. So this is a way of getting out the starting cards in your deck that aren't really good, or even some bad ones that you might that aren't helping you to accomplish your goal during the game, but you will take an infamy for that. And then there's also the Ramparts. It costs 4, but it lets you get 3 walls, and there's that wall symbol that I was talking about earlier. You can get 3 walls that you will end up placing later on during your turn. Now the quarry is where you will acquire walls for the game, which you will place onto the board. You can see over here you've got what says inspection, and it's a track here, and down below it tells you how many walls to fill the quarry in for how many players. You can see I have it set up for a 2-player game. I have 15 walls in the quarry, and I have the inspector token on the 4th inspector spot, so it'll count down. Now, whenever these walls clear out and the player places the last one, it triggers an inspection, which is then when people will take certain penalties, they'll get to score Baileys on the board and so forth during the game. And then you'll fill in from the general supply over here to the quarry, and you'll start another round. And here we have the guild board. You can see I have my tokens here. The little square ones are my recruits that I can earn during the game, as well as I have my my token that I can place in the Bailey for my guild to claim it as my own. I've got my 2 contract cards that I got at the beginning of the game. You get 4, but then you pick 2 out of that 4, and the other ones go back into the box. You can see it says the contract at the end of the game for points. It's worth 5. It's called Great Wall, and if I can claim a Bailey during the game consisting of at least 16 wall pieces, I will be able to get this. These are end game points. You want to keep these secret from everybody in the game, so they should be face down on your side. I also have my infamy and corruption tokens there, and my track for infamy and corruption. It goes from 1 to 10. You will be earning infamy and corruption whenever you play cards that have the infamy or corruption on the bottom of them. When you play them, you don't get those points right away. Those cards will go into your back alley after you've resolved them, and then when you need to reshuffle your deck, you will take the cards from your back alley, total up any infamy and corruption that those cards have, and then move your token before putting those cards with the rest of your cards in your discard and then shuffling them. Now over here we have our deck. Our deck consists of 4 basic cards at the beginning of the game. Those 4 basic cards are Apprentice, which will give you 1 recruit. The Market Stall, which will give you 1 gold to spend on any of the markets. Stone Walls, which will let you take 2 walls from the quarry and add them to your play area, which is up here at the top. And also Clumsy Thief. You see, Clumsy Thief not only gives you 1 gold, but it has that infamy sign on there. So whenever you play this turn, after you resolve it and you get your 1 gold, this card will go into your back alley spot. Of course, I've got all the tokens there, so I can't really place it there. But it will go there like I talked about. Now, how does this all come together, and how do we earn renown for the game to be able to win? So we start off, I'm going to say, let's just do a sample turn so I can show you how the play is and how you generate different things. And then we will go ahead and get to how you score the points. So let's say it's the beginning of my turn. Of course, I am the blue guild. Everybody puts 1 of their recruit tokens on the 0 on the renown track to be able to track it. And I'm going to go ahead and play my turn. So how this goes is you play the cards from your hand, and then you resolve the cards, and then you end your turn. So I am going to go ahead and play my cards. Let's see. I've got 2 apprentices, a market stall, and 2 stone walls right here. Now, you don't have to play all the cards in your hand, but at the end of your turn, if you haven't played them, they will still go to your discard, and you'll still be drawing a new hand of 5 cards. So I'm going to choose, since I only have the 1 gold for the market stall, I'm not going to play the market stall card. I'm just going to put that off to the side. I'm going to play my 2 apprentices, so I get 2 recruits. I'm just going to put them here on the board to track them. And then I'm going to play my 2 stone wall cards, so they will give me 2 each. So that's 4 stone walls, which I will take from the quarry. Now, if I had played that card in my hand that generated gold, and I could have bought this card over here, Planners, for 1, then that card would go into my discard pile, not into my hand, to be shuffled later on and drawn later on. Now, before you position any of your recruits on the board, you must build all of the walls that you've generated. So basically, it makes sense to play all your cards generating walls first, and then your cards that generate recruits, and then place them. So let's go ahead and place these walls. Whenever you place the walls, they have to be interconnected. They can't be disjointed. Like I couldn't, like we have a starting one here on the board. I couldn't just put a wall over here. I have to build my walls connected to current walls on the board. So I want to try to build Baileys, and Baileys are enclosed spaces built by walls. So the smallest one you can make is a 3x3. And so you see I don't have enough to build this Bailey. Possibly somebody else could build it on another turn, or I could build it depending on how the game goes. So I've got my Baileys placed. So now I'm going to place my recruits. Recruits can be placed anywhere on the board, but they cannot be placed on top of walls. Now if I place, let's say I place one of my recruits here, and I place a recruit, let's say here, and then on a further turn, I ended up building a wall where this recruit is. That recruit would jump to the top of the wall. So they can end up on top of walls, but you can't place recruits on walls. So now let's say this is later on in the round. You can see more walls have been built on the board, and yellow has placed one of their recruits on the board, and we've built around them. You can see I have a recruit on a wall and a recruit inside. So the Bailey has just been built. So whenever that happens, you have to score it. But first you have to figure out who claims the Bailey. And you do that by getting different points. You get 2 points if one of your recruit is on the wall, and you get 1 point if they are inside of the Bailey. So we can see here, I've got 2, 3 points, and the yellow player has 1 point. So since I have the most influence for this Bailey here, I get to place one of my Bailey claim markers inside of it, and then score. The score for Bailey is how many empty spaces are inside of the Bailey. So this one will give me 3 renown, which I will earn right away. 1, 2, 3. Now when all the walls have been cleared from the quarry, you'll have what's called an inspection. And what happens is the next player, after whoever triggers the inspection, the next player will look at their board and see what their infamy is. If their infamy is anything over 0, they have to remove recruits from the board equal to the amount of infamy. So let's say if I had 1 infamy on my guild board, I can remove the recruit that's inside. But if I had 2 infamy on my guild board, I could choose to remove the one on top of the wall to count. Then the next player does so, and the next player does so, and the next player, of course, until everybody's removed stuff from the board. And then everybody sets their infamy to whatever their corruption level is on their guild board. Then you'll calculate occupation bonuses. You will see the Baileys on the board, who currently has the most influence in that Bailey, whether they have their claim marker in there or not. And then that player will earn 1 renown for holding influence in that Bailey, and it'll move their token on the board. Then you'll reset the quarry with the amount of walls from the surplus to the quarry, and you'll move the inspection token down the next spot on the track. Whenever it's totally done, you'll trigger the final inspection, which will trigger endgame. During the final scoring, you'll add up all the renown from your fulfilled contracts, if you have any, or if you were able to fulfill any, but you'll also subtract 1 renown from your total for each corruption that you have that's still on your board. Then the player with the highest total wins CastleScape. CastleScape is coming to Kickstarter on May 25th, so keep an eye out for it. I'm Logan for Logan Chops Previews. Leave us a like and a comment down below, and we'll see you next time. Happy gaming.